advice to organizations that there might be a data team that's just been spun up that's trying to do some things, or someone else in the business that's trying to use data and they realize the organization's not where it needs to be? How do you go from realizing that there's a problem and data quality is a part of that to actually solving it?
Oof. It takes
Little
time.
question.
Yeah, it takes time, and as they say, it's not a destination, right? It's the friends you make along the way that count here. There's some truth in that for data teams, because again, certainly if you're starting out in a data team, or you've got a newfound New Year's impetus and energy to start solving these problems, go and talk to the teams that are data generating, so typically engineering team or product teams, and go to the teams that are actually consuming the output, and make sure that you got a really good read on the priorities of those data consuming teams, so that you can then talk to the data generating teams and say, hey, look, I know you're generating 100 different event types here. These are the 5 that actually matter, because John in marketing needs them for his marketing performance report, or Sue in the product marketing team needs them for her user funnel reports. So always having a really good assessment of what's tier 1, what's actually important, what's seen by the board on a month-by-month level, what's seen by the C-suite on a day-by-day, week-by-week level, is really important, because it allows you to prioritize what you need to do, because you're not going to solve this in a week or 2 weeks across the board. Second, that prioritization will then tell you if you're building a data model and an hourglass data stack from scratch. Always happy to help with that, by the way. But if you're doing that from scratch, then you know where to start. You know what metrics that you need to start providing, and you can work your way back from those metrics to see what events you need for that. And then don't be afraid to just build this anew from scratch. Don't worry too much about legacy data or legacy events if what you care about is really getting to those metrics as quickly as possible, because you can then always do a one-off migration of your historical data sets into the new structure. And the third bit I say around data quality is having a very good understanding of the different types of data. And what I mean by that is there's objective data and subjective data. So objective data is typically synonymous with event data, where a page view is quite objective, a checkout event is quite objective, a conversion event is quite objective. It's much easier to guarantee the trustworthiness of objective events than it is to guarantee the trustworthiness of subjective aggregated data. Aggregated data is lifetime value. Aggregated data is revenue in Spain last week. Aggregated data is cohort onboarding completion rates, because these are data points that rely on not just the data being captured and manufactured accurately, but also on data modeling being done properly. And so you can't easily debug a problem there, whereas you can quite easily debug problems on the objective data side. So reducing your, actually, with all data problems, trying to steal some solutions from engineering typically helps. So separate your concerns, modularize your problem set, modularize your complex problem into multiple smaller problems that you can then sort of start prioritizing and solve one by one. And the one thing that really works for us is to split into the priorities what are tier 1 metrics that you need to get right as quickly as possible. Work your way back to the metric, to the events necessary, the data necessary for that, and then split between objective data points and subjective data points, and know how you're going to debug and stress test them is probably the sort of quite concrete advice that I give that works well.